How's it going, guys? Welcome to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to SeaBed, where last time we were here, we discovered that despite my hopes, Takako is no longer with us. Apparently the memory had been suppressed, and we're going to learn it probably coming up here in a little bit, so buckle up. I imagine this is going to get sad. Like, really, really sad. I was hoping, it still wasn't a great outcome, but I was kind of hoping that they just had a falling out, and that Sachiko just couldn't really handle that, but that Takako was at least like away and living her life and being happy. However, it doesn't seem to be the case. So, let us continue to dive into this realm and see what happens. I opened my eyes after experiencing a pleasant feeling of lightness, almost like I was floating in the wind. Within the deep darkness hovered a tiny flame, illuminating the cold, rock-laden ground below it. There was someone sitting in front of me, on the opposite side of the flame. I know you. We've met before. That's right. We met at the square. You were with your lover, then. They were garbed in a robe with a long hood, preventing me from making out their face. So that must have been the lady she met in Italy. Why are you in my dream? I don't know. It was as though my question had been swallowed by the darkness. Your mind seems to be in quite a state of chaos. Perhaps. Perhaps you are more confused than you ever realized. Well, whatever you say, in any case, there was something I forgot to ask you last time. What's that? Why didn't you renounce your theory? Most likely because I thought preserving it held more value than the remainder of my life. Why? Life versus theory. Yes? What we recognize as life is but an accumulation of electrical signals. Our consciousness is merely the result of oscillating electrons. Once you die, and the function fails, even that disappears. But the thoughts and ideas you put out there into the world, they remain. It might be no more than a tiny part of me, but a certain sequence of my individual oscillations resonates with and gets copied to other people. Wow, that's deep. It is, of course, hardly anything special. Everyone's doing it. That's just the kind of animal we, as a species, are. For instance, singing songs of love, gazing at the pictures of your homeland, reading letters. The feelings of the Creator are conveyed and thus find new life within the heart of the beholder. It's quite simple. I suppose that makes sense. Every word in our language comes from some individual sequence of oscillations, the original masters of what had long since been lost to time. A single word everyone uses now makes the feelings of those ancients reappear in the world. I feel that a tad more significant than a few years of living. Like a bubble from the shrouded depths of the sea. Right. The bubble meld together, changing their shapes, and forming feelings even more complicated than the original. I imagine it's a sketch of a Persian rug that gets more and more complicated. That sounds like it. The people currently alive are the threads connecting the oscillating sequences into one giant rug of near infinite complexity. This actually does bring up the idea, like the hive mind idea. How, a good example are ants. Ants, as individuals, are very, very basic. They only have, their basic instincts. However, coded into those instincts are the ability to disseminate and to communicate information. Where sources of food are, how much food there is, what direction it is, how far away it is to get, and what the access, the dangers are along the route. Bees do this too. And then they come back to their hive, and they communicate this information. And then as a bunch, the ants kind of collectively gather all the information, and almost through this weird, almost like a psychic vote, they can disseminate some of the best information and send people out. They also leave trails of pheromones that lead each other along a path. And so in a way, these collectives do what an individual never could, which is disseminate information, break it down, and to then follow a very logical plan that will lead to the greatest chances of survival. In humans, I think we do something similar. Not quite hive mind-ish, but like I was talking about here, ultimately the impressions and feelings and ideas, we kind of form a network of them together. The internet is like a tangible example of that, where all our minds brush up against each other. Sure, there's a lot of flotsam and jetsam in there. That's just kind of just there. Heck, this video is kind of one of those things where it's not really impacting too many people's lives. It's not really changing anything, and yet every little piece is crucial. Every little, like, I don't know, voice of dissidence, every little disagreement, every little, like, convergence, every happy gathering, they all are important. And as a species, we bully each other up. That's why you can see technology grew and exploded the better we got at communicating with each other. I don't know if that's a coincidence. A lot of people like talk about all the different reasons why the Renaissance happened and why the Industrial Revolution happened, but I think a lot of it came down to our ability to connect with each other and with the rest of the world. Because once we started making it possible for that to become easier for everyday people, we made it so that so many more minds could connect, that we could bridge together ideas and concepts we never could think of before. Very, very deep. We got really existential already. So all people, dead or alive, are part of that rug, are they not? Takako too. Yeah. What about you? I think so. You're a strange one. I could say the same about you. I wish we could have met while you were still alive, not as some dream. Indeed, this is a dream completely isolated from reality. You've come up with everything here on your own. Perhaps I have. But I'm extremely interested in what you're trying to achieve now. What are you talking about? The person fell silent. The gradually waning flame around us no longer reached their face. It seems like time's up. Interesting. So what is she trying to do? She's trying to... I slowly opened my heavy eyelids, waking up to the grating noise. Lub-dub, it sounded like something hitting a large drum. It was pitch dark around me. I couldn't see anything. I finally made it out the vague, cobalt-tinged light of my alarm clock with the one eye that wasn't blocked by my pillow and saw the numbers on its display. Lub-dub. The sound seemed to be coming from my chest. It was the beating of my heart. The blood vessels in close proximity to my ears were so... Oh my gosh. Ooh. Oh, I don't like that. Ooh. In close proximity to my ears were sending blood up to my head, contracting like the throat gulping down water. I squeezed my sheet and firmly closed my eyes. It's like she becomes hypersensitive to her own body. I must have been woken up by a bad dream or something. As I continued to listen, the sound grew more and more unbearable. I heard someone clutch the sheets. As I opened my eyes, I saw Takako's back. I reached out, but my eardrums almost exploded as my arm brushed against the sheet. Still enduring that terrifying sound, I finally managed to reach her back with my palm. Is something wrong? I was unable to force out a single word. Takako, with my hand still against her back, spoke up herself. Is it another one of those? Did you have a bad dream? I gently pulled up on her pajamas. Takako slowly turned around to face me. After wrapping her arms around my tense shoulders, she held me tight against her chest. The sound, which at this point was beginning to sound like a battering ram against my eardrums, grew in intensity. The rustling of clothes, the compressor, every little sound of the vicinity assailed my ears like a boom of thunder. Excuse me. That boom of thunder right there too. Lub-dub, lub-dub. The sound of running blood was trembling, trying to tear my nerves to shreds. She needs to go to the doctor, like now. Takako's hand touched my hair. She began stroking it. Her hand moved slowly like a cloud in the sky, or a shadow upon the face of the sundial. All the terrible sounds, now melded into one agonizing cacophony, were returning to the normal one by one with each of her strokes. Maybe that's why. Maybe Takako inadvertently was her lifeline for keeping her sanity, and that's why she kept holding on to her even after she died. Because now there's not going to be a barrier that keeps her sane. Shoot, sorry I keep coughing. The fridge in the kitchen, the digital clock next to my pillow, the wind howling against the window, they became more and more distant. I'll be up till you fall asleep, so relax. Her whisper still sounded like an ear-piercing scream, but no longer made me break out in a cold sweat. Fetch, girl, you are in trouble. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like where this is going. Feeling something warm against my eyelids, I opened my eyes. The bright light of the morning found its way through the gap in my curtains. I traced a hand along my shoulder, finding the spot Takako was touching just moments before. I could feel warmth, the unmistakable trace of someone's touch. Looking at the bed after I had climbed out of it, I noticed some wrinkles on the sheets, almost as though someone had really been lying next to me. I placed my hand on the wrinkled spot, finding it still warm. The door to my bedroom was left partially opened. What? A crow sounded a shriek, letting a slumbering city know the morning had come. I heard the sound normally. Raising my now functional head, I left the room. Okay. Yes, good, we're back here. I don't know what's up with me. I was fine until I started recording. Now I'm like, bleh. Sorry. I told Narasaki what Fumi had told me, including the intense ringing in my ears that followed. Narasaki listened to me, nodding her head. It seemed almost like she wasn't surprised at all. I'm sure she did her research. It wouldn't be too hard to find an obituary, if you knew what you were looking for. Narasaki left her pen on the desk and placed a hand on her chin. Can I bring you something to drink? Go ahead. Sorry about interrupting. She moved further into the room and came back holding 2 cups. I use this to keep myself awake, so it might be a tad too strong. Narasaki placed one of the cups next to me. Thank you. I was about to take a sip, but the coffee was so hot it burned my lips. I used the silver spoon that Narasaki handed me to stir the cup a little. How is it? After cooling down the coffee at a tolerable temperature, I took a very small sip, just to wet my lips, but still ended up wincing at the taste. It's bitter. I've heard that hard roasted coffee beans are supposed to not carbonize and retain their sweetness. I've heard that the light roasting actually makes it retain more caffeine, and it's more effective at waking you up. I'm not sure how it works with caffeine, to be honest, but the taste of this one is enough to drive sleep away from me. It's more of a mood thing. I took another sip, then left the cup on the desk. I understand what you mean. Narasaki cleared her throat, drank the last remnants of coffee from her cup in a single gulp, then left it on her desk. I could see black dregs trembling at the bottom of her cup. Managed to calm down a little? Yes. You don't feel sick or anything? I had a headache when I heard what Fumi had to say, but it's already passed. That terrible pain was gone by morning. Good. My head doesn't hurt, but I no longer understand what's going on with me. Narasaki drummed her fingers against the desk. I urged her to answer faster. For one, I can tell that Takako has passed away. That's definitely true. I furrowed my brows. Do you have proof? You've only forgotten about it. I have forgotten that too. Besides, I know how and when it happened. See, wouldn't be too hard to find. I see. In that case, can I remember it through hypnosis? Most likely. Are you sure you want to? I guess you have to now, though. I wouldn't be able to say no. Narasaki prepped the sofa we used last time and made me lie down. We don't need to go into a deep sleep like last time. Just relax and listen to my words. Oh boy, buckle up. The emotion train's coming in hard to the station. She told me to close my eyes and relax, just like last time. Then she began talking in a slow voice. Try and recall that rainy day. We hadn't met in a while. Oh, it's gonna be the funeral, isn't it? Suddenly, I could hear the sound of rain. There was a line of people dressed in black. I could smell the faint hint of incense through the rain. Oh no. Oh, she's so sad. Fetch. And then she was there. Of course so she knew the whole time. Literally from day one. It's been a while. Excuse me. I'm Narasaki. Do you remember me? She handed me her business card. If you need help, you can always come to me. Of course she knew. What was that? Okay, so that's all? That's all we get? Right. Now I remember. We hadn't spoken in a decade at that point. It seemed like you had already forgotten all about it when we chatted at the cafe, though. I was a little surprised when you just took my business card. I'm sorry about that. Don't be. I figured it was probably related to the reason why you'd wanted my help anyway. I could have told you everything, but I didn't want to force things where I still didn't have all the answers. Apparently, Narasaki was planning to tell me about Takako's death after pinpointing the cause of my condition. I see. You probably already realized this much, but I imagine you forced yourself to forget about Takako in an attempt to cope with her loss. I was worried that by making you remember would only upset your mental state, causing your hallucinations and earringing to grow worse. But your guess was off then? No, don't lie to her. Understanding what Narasaki said, I took another look at myself. I wasn't exactly in pain, nor did I feel anything that could be described as severe anxiety, fear, or even stress. I'm glad I was wrong. Otherwise, we might have been in a pretty tough situation with you learning the truth before I could explain anything. I was pretty confused when I learned about it, though. I think your headache was just an after effect of your memories returning. Aw, it's a cat. I heard the mew of the cat walk by the fence, small window. Actually, my cat is curled up in the corner right there. Normally, he's asleep with Mom, or my wife. But today he decided he was going to camp out in here. And, you know, he doesn't look like he's sleeping too well because I keep talking, but he seems happy with it. If he wakes up and wants pets, I'll bring him up and I'll show him to you. He's gotten a lot fatter since the last time we showed you. Anyway. Well, I'm glad I managed to straighten out some of my memories without any obvious repercussions. But this raises a couple new questions. Just like that trip I saw during your hypnosis. You said that you thought that I couldn't handle the shock of Takako's death and forgot all about it. Is that correct? Yeah, that was the first thing that came to my mind. But it looks like I was wrong. Narasaki nodded. Yeah, it's still weird. And we still don't know what happened, like how she died. Let's fix these one by one. Alright. So, Takako's disappearance, hallucinations, something else for memory loss. Narasaki picked up my medical record and opened the page of the diagram. First, you misremembered the date of your trip of Takako's disappearance. This was done so you could treat your hallucinations as real things. On this account, I doubt we were mistaken. Right, that makes sense. So now I consider these memories a discrepancy problem solved? Yeah. Oh, that's such a sad word. Next, I thought your hallucinations were the result of a deep psychological shock caused by Takako's death. But that was probably off the mark. So, what are we left? So we're left with the fact that Takako is nowhere to be found, plus your symptoms. No connection. The hallucinations were there before. Narasaki added that to the diagram. I gave it another careful look. Wait, how do you know my hallucinations haven't also been cured? Didn't we just eliminate their cause? Narasaki paused for a few seconds. Your memory loss was just something to convince yourself the hallucinations you've been seeing in the office were real. And in regards to Takako, whether she disappeared or passed away, it doesn't change the fact that she's not with you. It's possible you might no longer see hallucinations in the office, but as long as you're alone, your situation hasn't changed much from before. Well, it's entirely possible your symptoms might have gotten lighter now that you remember the important things, but this diagram doesn't show the cause of your hallucinations to begin with. I can't exactly declare you cured just yet. Everything has a meaning and a reason, huh? Exactly. Looking at the diagram, though, it didn't seem like we had much left to go on. It felt like all the possible causes had been ruled out either by elimination or the treatment I received. In any case, I suppose it'd be a good idea for me to keep coming here. Oh, darn it, that's Sachiko. Narasaki considered me for a few seconds before voicing her agreement. It seemed like she was busy thinking about something else. Is something bothering you? Yeah, but for now, I have to keep observing you. As I've said before, there's a possibility that your symptoms might have grown lighter with this. Would be nice if that were the case. I looked at my watch while Narasaki placed her pen and medical record on the desk before shifting her attention to the calendar on the wall. On it, a red line crossed out all the days from the end of this week to the end of the next. You have a vacation coming up, right? Yes, that's right. Yesterday, you worked late into the night, correct? I'm worried about your symptoms, but I might just be concerned about your physical health. I highly recommend spending your vacation somewhere calm and relaxing. Do you have anything planned? Not really. Any place you'd recommend? Narasaki lightly scratched her cheek. If we go up to the mountains to a retreat, and it's going to be the one that's owned by the lady who we met in Italy, that would be interesting. I tend to spend most of my days off at home, so how about a hot spring? Hot spring? A coworker of mine actually invited me on a trip to one just the other day. I suppose my hometown is more famous for hot springs than anything around here. But if I went back there now, I'd be opening a whole new can of worms. I'm not saying it's necessary or anything, but perhaps it would be better for you to be with someone who knows you well. And if it's a calm place where you can relax, all the better. What about spending my vacation at home? There were some movies I wanted to watch. Maybe I should drop by the rental store on my way back. Narasaki slowly shook her head as if trying to look around the room while I browsed through the various movie titles in my mind. That sounds like a good way to relax, but I'd still recommend going outside. Would that be more effective? Yeah. Do you remember the conditions of making your memories surface through hypnotic therapy? Yes, I think it was information directly connected to said memories, like concrete sights, situations, and dates. That's right. You could say that in your head your memories are tagged or indexed in a particular way. But the hippocampus. I'm pretty sure you've experienced a certain kind of elation or rush of memories when you're looking at a nostalgic site. And your room is packed with memories of Takako. Your environment is full of things that will remind you of her. Things that will remind me of her. I repeated her words. If possible, I'd recommend picking somewhere you haven't been to before. Places with strong ties to Takako, like your office or your home, will definitely make you remember her. I think it would help for you to relax and reorganize your thoughts in a completely fresh environment. You might be right. If you do find someplace nice, be sure to tell me about it. Alright. Interesting. I definitely agree, though. Like, heck, honestly, if I could, I would try and persuade Sachiko to move. Like, there's too many ingrained memories in their shared apartment. If she could move somewhere, she could probably put it all behind her. I went back home and finished the laundry. Then I scrubbed the bathroom and the wash bin until the sun set. After that, I cleaned the oil stains from the stove and the mold that had accumulated around the faucet. I also polished the sink until I could see my face reflected in it. Jeez, calm down, girl. Finally, I thought about how much I'd spend on how I'd spend my vacation. I couldn't think of a single acquaintance I wanted to spend time with in this condition. I watched the tap water hit the bottom of the freshly polished sink. With nothing else to do, I sort of spaced out for a while. I observed the translucent flow of water from the tap as it burst apart upon hitting the surface of the silver sink. The water kept swirling around as it traveled down the drainage. Having grown tired of watching that, I turned off the tap. After observing the last drops of water disappear from the sink, I removed my apron and hung it on the rack. I get very melancholy too. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's depression. Depression is pretty severe, but I think we all go through ups and downs in our moods, and sometimes I just have these moments of melancholy where I do stuff like this. It sounds kind of random, but if you think about it, you probably do stuff like this too. Something simple and really non-effective, that something catches your attention when you're kind of down, and you just focus on it. I think it's part of us trying to process emotions, which aren't like normal thoughts, and we have to like kind of like methodically distract ourselves a little bit so we can let our subconscious work on them. I continued to the bathroom. After undressing, I began opening the door leading inside. The steam from the bathtub escaped through the slit. Once I'd confirmed the temperature was just right, I climbed inside the tub and submerged myself in the water. I could feel my body warming up, along with the pleasingly light tingling of the heat against my skin. I have to be careful. Getting in like hot tubs and stuff, like I get really dizzy. I can't stay in there long. We should use this for a chance. We should use this to go a chance to go somewhere far. I heard Takako speak. Oh, hello, Takako, in convenient burst of steam. I opened my eyes to see her playing with a toy duck. Hello, other convenient burst of steam. Somewhere far. That sounds nice. But I was told not to tire myself out too much. Not awkward at all. Just a bathroom and a ducky. Don't hurt me, YouTube. I guess it's fine. I don't monetize right now anyway, but still. Hello? I heard the phone ring as I left the bath. I wrapped a towel around myself and hurried to the living room. Hello? Ah, finally. Hello, is this Miss Sachiko? I heard from a somewhat familiar voice from the other end of the receiver. Yes? This is Fujisaki and Nanae. I thought you wanted to visit us. I remember the woman who helped me look for Takako back in Italy. Oh, right. What? Why is she calling? It's been a while. What? You just called me the other day. Did I? Guess you really did forget. Didn't you say you wanted to visit us during your next vacation? Nanae's tone was colored by a mild surprise. I did? Yes! Our inn isn't open to regular customers right now due to remodeling, so you were happy that I could have the whole place to yourself. Are you sure you don't remember? I made an attempt to try and remember, but failed. I don't like this. Come to think of it, I've been completely occupied with work these past 2 weeks. I must have forgotten our conversation as a result of that. There's also the thing with Takako, so I tried not to think too deeply about it. So has your vacation started already? You said you'd be here by next weekend, I believe. My vacation was supposed to start next weekend. There was no issue with my schedule. Yes. Okay, interesting. After we finished our conversation, I hung up. I sort of just went along with what Nanae said, but it seemed like a whole vacation problem just solved itself. I don't like this. I returned to my room, put my towel pulled out my travel bag from the closet. Found a pamphlet in one of its inner pockets. After I flipped through a few pages, a piece of paper fell out of the thing. It had Nanae's phone number and address written on it. I placed the piece of paper on the side table and sat down on my bed. Wait, but if it was in the travel bag, how did she call her? I feel like I've been letting circumstances dictate my decisions for me as of late. I inhaled a deep breath and cleared my mind. After a brief pause, I considered what I should think about first. I recalled my encounter with Takako's hallucination in the bathroom. It had been a while since I saw her naked. Of course. I wish that hallucination stayed for a while longer. Aww, I'm sorry. That's really sad, but also really cute. It's really sad because it's cute. Oh man, I'm just feeling depressed. Narasaki's words suddenly reverberated in my mind. Everything has a reason. There was a reason why I misremembered the date of the trip and was confused about Takako's fate. According to Narasaki, it was most likely because I actually wanted to keep seeing Takako's hallucinations. The reason I thought Takako was still alive and Inunake was to make it so that my hallucinations in the office wouldn't clash too violently with my perceived reality. After thinking about that way, it all made perfect sense. It kind of doesn't, though. I think there's more to it. My own emotional frailty was the cause of it all. No. Her emotions have been pretty grounded. I don't think that's it. I think there's more to it. I think the nature of Takako's death also has something to do with it. I think there was a circumstance around it that probably was... Oh, Narasaki Clinic Room 208 has been unlocked. I am going to have to check that out because I want to see it. Should we just see that right now? You know what? I think we might. Because here, I'm going to share my thoughts real quick. Then we'll read that, and that'll probably be the end of this episode. But, so, quickly, what I'm saying is that... So, the hallucinations are not tied to Takako's death. I'm guessing that she's had softcore hallucinations pretty much her whole life. Because she talked about as a child having those, like, auditory like, blasts. And then when she made friends with Takako, they went away. So I think having, like, a friendship, an outlet, and a close, like, emotional bond somehow, like, put that stuff at bay. So I think that these issues come from something else. I don't know if it's like a trauma or just or biological. I'm guessing it's biological personally. But the fact that we don't remember Takako's death, or at least she doesn't, I think has to do with possibly her feeling like she's to blame for her death. Probably more likely something simple like, oh, if only I had discouraged us from doing this, or if I'd listened to that gut feeling that this was too dangerous, or, actually, I bet you it was something like Takako wanted to go do something, and Sachiko wasn't feeling like it, so Takako just went without her, and then something happened, she got stuck, and, like, died, and Sachiko was overwhelmed with guilt, and that's what caused her to have her, like, mental lapse. That makes more sense to me. And that the hallucinations just help support that narrative to keep herself from losing her mind. Ugh, I don't like it, though. So, 208. What was the one we watched before? I thought it was 208, too. Tips 1, Narsaki Clinic. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to click the next. I'll let it save, and then we're going to go right up to it, so bear with me. Oh, wow, Chapter 1. Man, how much longer does this game have? I thought we were getting close to the end. But if we're just reaching Chapter 1, holy crap. Okay, anyway, so let's save. Okay, now here we are in the tip. Now, so this is Narsaki Clinic. The first tip we had was room 008, and now we're in 208. So, but it's Narasaki's Clinic, and now we know who that is, so it has a bit more context. No idea who's talking here, though, so I don't know whose voices to do, but we'll figure it out. After finishing a light meal in the cafeteria, I returned to the kitchen and prepared a small dish for one. I used the same boiled vegetable I ate in my own dish and had already prepared the previous day. All I had to do was warm them up. I picked up the tray I placed in the vegetable plate and a rice bowl on, then left the kitchen. Seems like Sachiko's meal from earlier. From the lobby, I ascended the stairs to the second floor and knocked on the door of the room at the end of the corridor, the one marked with the number 208. Ooh, yeah, Sachiko's here. As Sachiko ate, I sat down in the cane chair and once again looked over the list of things that had disappeared from the mansion. So Sachiko's here, but we're probably with Narasaki's point of view. What is it you're always checking over there? Looking up, I noticed that Sachiko had already finished her meal. I'm making a note of all the things that disappeared from this mansion. Disappeared? Has there been a burglary or something? No, nothing's been stolen. The things here tend to disappear and reappear in other places, that's all. How exactly do they disappear? He's like kicking a box. I don't know. I've never witnessed actual movement when they disappear. By the time I take notice, they're already gone. You mean you've never actually witnessed it? I nodded. Could it be you can't even notice things if they vanish and reappear right in front of your eyes? That'd be odd. There's nothing odd about it. It's just how the world works. Then why are you so concerned about it? Everything here happens for a reason. And I want to know that reason. Besides, if possible, I'd rather not forget what used to be here. Sachiko glanced outside the window. It was black as night as you couldn't see anything, but the light from outside still illuminated the room to a certain extent. Sachiko came to this clinic 3 days ago without warning. It had been a long while since she last visited, so it surprised me. I let her into the reception room and listened to what she had to say. She seemed tired and somewhat pale. When I asked her about it, she said that her job had been pretty hectic lately. When I asked why, she told me Takako had passed away due to an illness. Apparently, Sachiko took over her workload in the office on top of looking after her when she ended up bedridden. Wait, is this shortly after the death? No, that wouldn't make sense. This is somebody else, I think. I'm so confused. She told me she wanted some rest, so I lent her one of my rooms. When I glanced back at her, she was still looking out the window. Sachiko wouldn't leave the room the next day either. Ooh. There were a few things missing in the room. I checked that day too. It was a bit strange to have things disappear in such quick succession, but I was particularly interested in what was missing. Florinbin thing was. Where that missing Florinbin thing was. I returned to my room, still nothing the wiser about the whole situation. As I reached my desk, I opened the list, and after looking at proper nouns, left a little note for myself. Sometime after noon, I felt hungry and made my way to the kitchen. I'd already had lunch, so I checked the refrigerator for something light. The massive silver fridge had 9 drawers. I pulled out a sizable pear from the bottom one and sliced up into pieces with a kitchen knife. I left the room with a tray of freshly made tea and a plate of pear slices. I looked outside the window as I ascended the stairs. The inner yard was surrounded by walls from every excuse me, walls from every angle. Even the sky, the dark-filled clouds, looked rectangular. Look rectangular? Weird. Sachiko was reading a book in her room as usual. You shouldn't forget to exercise. You'll get sick if all you do is read. I placed a plate with my pear slices on the side table. Sachiko glanced at the plate and thanked me, but instead of eating anything, returned her full attention to the book. I sat down in the cane chair with my own plate and began reading the novel I'd brought with myself. After a while, I began hearing crunching sounds from Sachiko's direction, which made me look up from my book. She was looking at the window. The window was always dark. You could never see anything beyond it. Sachiko mentioned it was odd, but kept looking at it all the same. She also said how odd it was that things kept disappearing. In this clinic, however, things kept disappearing and reappearing without warning. What on earth is this? The ones that appeared tend to be daily necessities that you can never forget. For example, the fridge I looked at just earlier would fill up without my knowledge. Sachiko would probably say that it was odd too. I'm gonna go look at the flower beds in the inner yard. Wanna come with me? I finished the last slice of my pear and looked at Sachiko. It's been raining a lot, so I want to check up on the flowers. I feel like it would do some good to go outside and be a bit instead of staying in bed all day and night. You may be right. I brought our plates to the kitchen while Sachiko got changed. After I returned to her room, I picked her up. We continued to the inner yard and looked at the flower beds. The inner yard was between the 4 wings of the building. The weather seemed to have taken a turn for the better by the time we finally went outside. We could see spots of blue sky amid the clouds. As soon as we stepped outside, we were welcomed by cosmos flowers. They were swaying left and right in a fierce wind. At first look, it didn't seem like any flowers ended up with the broken stems. Similarly, the soil looked fine as well. I crouched next to one of the flower beds, brushing the dirt from the brick block and pulling a piece of weed from between some of the flowers. Do you like cosmos flowers? I do. Sachiko came to my side and began pulling out weeds herself. I gave her face a long, hard look as I continued working. She looked better compared to when she first arrived. Are you feeling better now? Sachiko nodded after a slight pause. I'm causing you trouble, aren't I? You can stay here for as long as you want, as far as I'm concerned. What about your job? I'm on paid vacation right now. I see. Sachiko had already spent 4 days here. So, is this the vacation she's going to be going on? I doubted you could take that many paid days off. Even in the case of death in your immediate family, you would usually get 2 or 3 days in this country. Same here. We only got 3 when Becca's father passed. A wave of sound split forth from the speakers in the inner yard, making Sachiko raise her head. After a few more moments of noise, they started playing some music. Is something happening? Sachiko looked at the speaker and the tree with a confused expression. No, it's just music. Where's it coming from? From the broadcasting room. There are many records there, so they play some of them from time to time. What for? Just to listen. After staring at me for a short while, Sachiko noted how odd it was. What the heck? This doesn't make me feel any better! 4 days had passed since Sachiko came here. I decided to go looking for the medical records detailing her previous visits. She'd been here on several occasions, and I was the one to examine her on each of those times. I eventually treated and sent her home in a healthy state. Every time, I knew exactly what kind of role I had to fill. This time, however, I had yet to grasp it. That said, I didn't feel particularly worried. There was a doctor at this clinic, and there was only so much I could do for her. After Sachiko returned to her room, I made my way to the library in the other wing. Her old medical records should have been there. There was a corridor connecting the east and west wings. I unlocked the large double doors leading to it. So, having been neglected for so long, the door opened with an audible creak. Beyond it, there was only darkness. Though the light switch was right next to the door, flipping it did absolutely nothing. Even the oculus window located in the middle of the ceiling was completely shrouded in darkness. I propped open the door so it wouldn't close behind me, switched on my flashlight, and stepped inside. The library was a relatively big, circular structure. I couldn't even make out the wall on the other end of the room. The door I entered through was on the second floor, meaning there were two paths I could take, both leading to semicircular stairs. One was leading down, the other up. I chose the path leading down, and used the flashlight to make out my steps, began to slowly descend. The stairs themselves were made of black iron and had a relief of flowers sculpted on them. Hard metallic sounds reverberated in the room with each of my steps. I finished my descent and continued to a shelf located right by the entrance. It was filled with medical records. With the help of my flashlight, I found Sachiko's old file. A cloud of dust burst up in the air as I pulled it out. I waved a hand in front of my face to get the dust away. Just in case, though, I brushed off the file with my hand before opening it. Right on the first page, I spotted some familiar-looking handwriting. It was mine. The date was already over 10 years ago. Her symptoms, treatment, and progress were all recorded in the document. It differed a little from how I currently filled my medical records, filing them with random superfluous observations and a number of unrelated information, almost like it was some diary. Feeling the grip of nostalgia on my heart, I looked over the record for a while longer until I noticed the light of my flashlight growing dim. I probably pulled out all Sachiko's files from the shelf and returned the way I came. Okay. So, what did we learn? Yeah, okay, so in the future, Sachiko keeps returning to the clinic, and each time the doctor sends her back with a bill of health. So this might not be the first time that Sachiko's returned to the clinic, nor is it the last. Also, Narasaki seemed to be going a little crazy, unless she was just making stuff up. But it seemed like she was degrading a bit, like talking about how things would disappear and reappear in different places, like her memory was fading. She talked about how she would lose track of time, and how her notes had gone from rigid notes of possible diagnosis, list of symptoms, and like a schedule, and kind of turned into a diary where it seems like she's lost a lot of professionalism. It's weird. So is Narasaki going crazy too? Oh man, this is crazy. There goes the word again. Alright, anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. That was a lot of stuff to unpack, and I have no clue how much longer this game's going to go now. Holy crap, but we just hit chapter 1. This could be quite a long ride. Oh, I guess I just had no idea. I thought it was going to be short. Well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being part of the channel. It's wonderful to have you here for this fantastic story. As always, I look forward to spending more time with you in the future. I appreciate you spending your, coming to the channel. I hope you keep finding what you're looking for here. And I'd love to hear from you too. What do you think about this? Am I going crazy? Did I catch things there? Am I making stuff up? Especially that last tip. I'd love to hear your interpretation on it, but no spoilers. That's always the rule. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. And until the next video, watching me or whatever is to me in next. I'll see you there.